Огонь на подавление! Враг сзади по левому флангу! Противник на северо-востоке! Противник! Северо-запад! Противник на юге! Они атакуют с юго-востока! Зависим! Противник на юго-западе! Вражеская!
With the Scoundrel's Kiss receiving massive buffs in the mid-season patch, it's finally time to revisit this gem of a build. Unless this video goes to the absolute shitter, I'll be making 3 variants of this build: Cold, Shadow, and Poison. And in this one, we'll focus on the Cold. Now you're probably like, what exactly has warranted a revisit to this build because the buffs didn't look that significant? Well, damn my man, the size increase of Scoundrel's Kiss was significant enough to actually be able to hit stuff. From previously barely being able to hit the toilet, we can now actually burst enemies down in all ranges. And yes, that's even when the enemies are sniffing you in the nutsack, making you able to play it on console. Not that I know why you would want to do that anyway, but hey, it's now a possibility. Alright, that sounds pretty cool. But if you're new to the build, then you probably know nothing about what the hell is going on here. So let's talk about how the build works. The skills that you are seeing currently are used for the fast as fuck build variant, meaning we are ditching the Caltrop skill. This is due to it being extremely wanky and clunky, allowing it to belong in the fucking trash for speed running. Instead, we're throwing in a smoke grenade for the added 25% big dam, since this cast is instant. Along with this, we're rocking double gap closes along with cold imbuement. And why cold imbuement? Well, damn my man, because it's absolutely busted. Not only does this increase our damage by 20% as we freeze enemies, but it also helps us stagger enemies with ease. As you can see in the gameplay, we always go for the crowd control, followed by making our enemies explode with an easy one-shot wombo combo. All the damage in this build does in fact revolve around having enemies crowd controlled and bosses staggered, allowing us to stack up multiplier after multiplier. And that's with suboptimal gear, having quite a fun absolute dogshit pieces. What's extra fun about this build, however, is the skill ceiling. You can in fact animation cancel a rapid fire, along with benefiting from different damage multipliers via dash and evading, for example. Now, if you're a shit newbie, you don't need to use these stuff, but I'll show them in the end regardless, because I'm a bro. Alright, so that's a bit about the basics. Let's head straight on over to the gear and aspects so you can copy-paste and start blasting. Starting off with the helmet, this is the only difficult to find item that I'm using, and it's obviously the Shako. Not only a great way to protect precious brain cells, but also completely bonkers. If you don't have it, then that is also fine. And you'll just slap on some cooldown reduction, dex and max life, along with the aspect of might. And for chest, we have this piece of shit. Dark Shroud ranks is by far the most important stat here, as the damage reduction it provides is pure insanity. Getting greater affix on that thing is expensive as fuck though, but you can then try to grab a GA dexterity, for example. As aspect, we also have the Umbrous aspect. With this, you'll have 5 stacks of Dark Shroud up permanently, allowing you to stay alive with ease. After that, we have the gloves. I'd try to grab rapid fire ranks along with attack speed and crit damage here. And why no crit chance? Well, damn son, it's because we're using the precision key passive in this build. We get the crits for free, we just need to stack up a bunch of crit damage, and we're good to go. You'll also look to imprint the accelerating aspect here, because 25% attack speed is just too hecking good. And next up is the panties. To get the ultimate gear setup, you'll look to grab a pair of pants or boots with greater affix on the armor and masterwork it until you're capped. If you do this and grab an all resistance roll, then you'll be capped on both armor and resistances. I don't have this, however, so I'm forced to go armor both here and on the boots for now, which sucks ass. In any way, the stats here are what you want, and you'll look to imprint the frostbitten aspect because 25% big damn on a pair of pants is pretty nutty. If you have any issues with staying alive, however, then Aspect of Might is also an option. Next up is the boots. If you want to do some pushing, then I'd go for these. Mobility cooldown reduction is amazing, reducing the cooldown of caltrops when pushing. If you're not interested in that shit, however, then just slap on movement speed instead to become fast as fuck. There is also an absolutely insane affix here that I'm lacking, and that is Attacks Reduce Evade Cooldown. For this build, reducing the cooldown of Evade is absolutely goated. But hey, can't catch them all, I guess. You're also grabbing the Explosive Nerve aspect here to turn Smoke Grenade into a trap skill, allowing us to benefit from a bunch of yummy Paragon nodes. And next up is the weapons. This is where things get interesting. You're looking to cap out chance for Rapid Fire to cast twice here and then go for the same stats as me. If you want to push, then you also want Caltrops Duration on one of the weapons to gain Big Damn and Masterwork the chance to hit twice. But if you don't give a shit about that, then you can just grab chance to cast twice on all of your weapons and Masterwork Crit and Dexterity, instead allowing you to become a Burst God Speed Demon. In any way, imprint the Retribution aspect for an insane 60% damage, the Edging Master, and the Expectant. Alright. And then we have the jewelry. And no, not my nutsack, we're talking about the amulet. This amulet was so beautiful, and I bricked the shit out of it by rolling marksman damage. I'm also yet to roll Exploit Malice or Weapon Mastery on it, and I'm stuck with this for now. Frigid Finesse is, however, by far the most important stat to grab here, allowing us to gain a massive 10% damage per rank against frozen enemies. You're also imprinting the Rapid aspect here for the biggest DPS output. A stat that is massively important also is Cold Imbuement charges, as you'll need around an additional 6 casts to have it up permanently. And finally, the rings. Scoundrel's Kiss is what enables this build. I managed to get one with Rapid Fire Greater Affix, but having Greater Affix on the attack speed is also goated as fuck. The other stats does, however, suck a hairy nutsack, so don't worry about those. For the other ring, you're definitely looking for this because it sucks ass. Instead, grab of max life, you should get some crit damage. What's the most important, however, is Cold Imbuement charges. By also having it here, you'll be able to spam Cold Imbuement with ease. And for Aspect, we have the Elements Aspect for Big Damn. Great job, friends. Gear and aspects are now done, and it was just in time because it's hecking skill tree o'clock and you know it, baby. There's also not much to say about the specialization, just grab combo points because it's the only good one for this build. Starting off with the basic skills, we're grabbing Puncture for fast attacks and Vulnerable. We then want Siphoning Strikes to heal us up and Sturdy for damage reduction. Whenever we stay up close and blast enemies down, Siphoning Strikes grants us just massive amounts of healing, basically allowing us to face tank anything. We then max out Rapid Fire along with Enhanced and Advanced Rapid Fire. This is one of the reasons that you want to keep evading as you're blasting for a massive 30% crit damage. After that, we go to the agility skills and grab Shadow Step along with Dash. If you're blasting through content insanely fast, then I'd definitely swap out a few other passives and grab Disciplined Shadow Step with Methodical Dash for more mobility, but I feel no need for it currently. You also have Rugged, which is massive for damage reduction. It so happens that our Dark Shroud ranks doesn't work against damage over time, making this one mandatory. When pushing, you're also grabbing Enhanced Caltrops for a huge DPS boost. Next up is the Sneaky Little Bitch skills, aka Subterfuge skills. Dark Shroud is obviously important, and I'm also using Countering Dark Shroud. Wait, what? Crit chance? Are you dumb in the head, Mr. Paragaming? Nah, Having this allows you to get just enough crit chance to always stack up the precision key passive when we are gathering combo points. And that's pretty damn good. We also have Smoke Grenade for the extra damage, and we can keep resetting it via countering Smoke Grenade. Also grab all of these passives and then go to the imbuements. We want Cold Imbuement because, well, I said this was going to be a Cold Imbuement build. Mixed Cold Imbuement is, however, massive for a big damage bonus, along with Frigid Finesse for even more bonus damage against frozen enemies. After that, we go to the ultimate skills, which we obviously skip and pick up these passives for damage and movement speed. And finally, the key passive. As long as we get just one crit when we stack up combo points, our rapid fire will always crit. On top of that, we are turning all of the yummy crit damage into a multiplicative stat, making it not dog shit. It also has the added benefit of not being absolutely bugged, unlike Victimize El Mao. Well, damn, will you look at that? Skill tree has been dealt with. I hope you're ready for a ride, because it's time for the hecking Paragon board. And you know it, my man. This is what I spent the most work on with this build, as we want to make sure to grab all of them yummy legendary nodes, max life, and a bunch of glyphs. I also focused on getting as much crit as possible, which turned out pretty damn good. Alright, and starting off we have Canny for the 10% damage bonus. We then go to the Tricks of the Trade board, Socket Exploit for the fast vulnerable, and head on over to the Deadly Ambush board. We also have Eldritch Bounty up here, but pick that one last as we're only getting the legendary node. Deadly Ambush is one reason as to why we need to make our Smoke Grenade into a trap skill. This happens automatically when using Caltrops, but that skill is fucking annoying, so screw that. I'm also rocking the Ranger Glyph for a bit more defensiveness, along with it requiring dexterity. And man, we love dexterity. Next up is the Exploit Weakness board, which is massive for bossing and socket combat. This one is massive for stacking up crit damage, and this glyph grants us 20% multiplicative damage or so. After that, we go to the Cheap Shot board, grab the legendary node and socket control, because 20% damage against frozen enemies is just massive. Like my dick. Ha, just kidding. And finally, the Cunning Stratagem board. The Denial nodes here help us out with resistances, and the Cunning Stratagem legendary node grants our rapid fire more arrows, allowing us to bust out 18 bombs each time we press it, which is pretty cool. Well, shit, my man. Paragon's done. What are we supposed to do now? Yeah, you're damn right. It's time to get hecking goo and learn how to blast. The pushing variant and speed running variant work the same. You're just replacing either dash or smoke bomb with caltrops instead. You'll always keep up your cold imbuement whenever you're using rapid fire, so just spam that shit. The shadow step is for whenever you're crowd controlled or simply just bored and need to move fast. Same goes for dash, except for the unstoppable part. Smoke Grenade is used whenever the cooldown is off. Just throw that shit onto the enemies and blow them up. And of course, always stack up 3 combo points with Puncture whenever you bust on the enemies with rapid fire. Alright, and then we have bosses and a few tricks. For bosses, you're always going for the stagger. If you're pushing, then you'll lay down a few caltrops before the boss is staggered for massive damage. If you're running dash, then you want to dash through the boss to gain the 15% damage bonus for 5 seconds along with evading to gain additional crit damage. Other than that, you just blast, man. Okay, let's quickly check out some pro tips. First is the elixirs. I typically run Anti-Venin and Fortitude, as I don't enjoy fucking dying LMAO. You can also run attack speed or crit damage. They're also pretty decent. And in case you're a Giga Blaster, then you want to do some animation cancelling, of course. The rapid fire one is subtle, but one you can do in case you're bored. Simply just evade right after a rapid fire, and you can start blasting a bit sooner. You're also getting the 30% multiplier, which is neat. Well, that's all for me. Sub for fuck's sake, and I'll see you in the next one.